Nation. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello, and thank you for watching.
For the past few weeks, Central Square has played host to public property as that we have a tragedy of the commons issue.
Saying happy holidays, King.
Voluntary interactions where individuals are free to act so long as they don't initiate force.
This morning, we gather to remember Sergeant Tom Ball.
Good evening, Keene. I'm your host, Johnny Ray.
Starting out tonight, we have an update on the Bearcat situation. News of Keene's resistance to the Bearcat has reached international news outlets with an article in the England's Daily Mail newspaper.
Keene Mayor Kendall Lane is quoted as saying, quote, "We're getting our own tank," unquote, in numerous publications. Two prominent articles on the Huffington Post website have helped rocket the Bearcat issue to national scrutiny.
This Thursday, the full City Council will meet to decide whether they will retract the vote to accept the grant.
This morning, 3 individuals were arrested at Cheshire Superior Court. Copblock.org's Adamo Freeman put out this video of the incident.
So here we are, wait, hold on. Cheshire County Court, this is the Superior Courthouse, right?
Yeah, that's right. And Kelly and I have been banned from here, as well as Derek J. and a couple of other folks, because we did what you just did with Burke, waited in the parking lot to talk to these bureaucrats, because they won't let anybody in with cameras, or at least recently they wouldn't. Then they recently changed the rules again about cameras, but either way, we're still
So we
banned.
are allowed to walk in with cameras?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, Daniel's in there with a camera right now, so he may be getting into it with them already.
But what is the official law as you speak?
There is no law. It's just men with a robe, you know, doing whatever it is they want to.
But the court order, has that been removed?
No, not at all. I was threatened last week when I was here.
Yeah, and you're not allowed
handing
here.
out flyers out in front of this courthouse and was threatened with arrest.
You're not allowed here for
I'm
trespassing?
already technically, you know, violating their trespass.
And what are you
over
going to do? You're going to walk in?
here. Yeah.
All right.
It used to be that at this checkpoint they would take everyone's cameras, they would take everyone's cell phones, they would take everyone's laptops.
Oh, this is where Jason was arrested. Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, now we get an idea of what's happening with the Jason arrest.
Now they're apparently letting cameras in, which they didn't do for months. It was months where they would not let a camera in here.
And this is after Adam's arrest. They stopped that.
Yes, precisely. After
But
Adams.
now he's in there with the
Now
camera.
he does have a camera. After Damo's arrest originally, the head of the district court and the head of the superior court both sent out notices or orders saying that all video devices, all audio devices were completely banned from the courts. Clearly they've changed the
Grand
rules.
jury is canceled.
If this were 4 months ago, you'd have been threatened already.
Wow.
Excuse me. Wait, anything else in your pocket? You need to put your soda down?
Thank you.
Sir, how you doing? Are we allowed with cameras in here or no?
Yeah, they can't be turned on.
They can't be
Are you
turned.
recording now, sir?
Yes.
Do you turn it off, please?
We can't record.
No, you can't record in the building.
Okay.
Would you turn it off, please?
Yes. What, is that a court order though? Is that part of the court order
Yes,
from
it
a few months
is.
ago?
It is, yes. Would you turn it off, please?
Yeah.
Now?
Would you treat WMUR cameras the same way, Frederickson?
Yes.
I'm a reporter from Miami. I'm just doing a
Would you
story
turn it
here.
off now, please?
But can I ask you a quick question?
I'll answer your question after you turn it off.
Well, I want to ask you
No.
before because I want to
Turn
get
it
on the
off.
record. That's the whole point.
Okay, you can
Wait,
turn
what's
it
going
off
on?
now, sir, before I call the deputies up here.
Are you aware of the Glick versus the state of Massachusetts
Would you
decision?
turn that off, please?
Yeah, there is
Are you
a
The
Glick.
deputy up here, please. Look at somebody who refuses to turn
Glick.
off the camera.
Do you know what Glick says? Glick says that our right to record public officials performing their public duties is a constitutional right.
Right, like
Don't
right
you
now.
believe in the Constitution?
Well, sir.
No, he believes in what a man in a robe says.
Well,
Oh my goodness.
well, look.
Well, I do not.
Well, let me just talk to this guy in a logical sense here.
Good luck.
We got your back.
I know, that was a mistake, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Because technically we're still in a public space here. We haven't walked in. So the camera should be rolling. I mean, it could be rolling. There's no law that says you can't have a camera rolling. Hey, how you doing, sir?
What's up?
So
I don't need permission. I'm here on business. There sheriff refuses to contact me.
Sir, are you recording?
Yes, sir.
You're not allowed to record in here.
No, don't please.
You're not allowed to record in here, sir.
Well, this
Turn
is
it off.
no. Let's talk about this.
Turn it off.
Under what order? Under what order are we going to do this?
Sir, if you do not turn that off, you'll be arrested.
Sir, we're
If you do
talking.
not turn that off, you'll be arrested.
Sir, can we talk outside
If you
here?
do not turn that off, you'll be arrested.
Sir, I'm going to continue recording because I'm doing a look. First of all, I'm doing a journalistic report. Okay.
Outside the building, there's no recording
Okay.
inside here.
But sir, are you aware of the Glick decision? The Glick decision versus Boston. It allowed us to record in public spaces. Sir, look where I'm at. I'm outside here.
Outside of the building, if you're going to record. You come in
Yeah.
again, you'll be arrested.
But under what order? That's what I'm asking you. Can you please tell me what order?
I'm here on official business, and I contacted.
Come on, guys.
Mike.
Hang on just 1 second.
I talked to Mike last.
At least it's slight common courtesy.
The sheriff. He says to me, the sheriff's going to come out and talk to you. He never came out. Well, I wasn't there, and then I saw you a few days later, and I said, hey, I never heard from him. I never heard from him, and then you said, I said, well, would you put him in touch with me? You said you would. He never called me. He's got my number. Hey,
How are you doing?
do I have to come with you, or
Yes,
are
you are coming right now. It's under arrest.
You guys are ridiculous.
Derek, come here.
Come on, guys. What are you doing?
Well, what are you doing?
What are you doing on the property?
What property?
Whose property is it?
What are you
Stop.
Stop! What? What are you talking about? Get away from me!
You're trespassing.
You're scaring me.
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
I'm telling you to stop.
You have a gun. I don't like you. You don't look like a peaceful person. I just want to be left alone. I would just like to be left alone.
You guys really suck at catching people.
I feel safe with you protecting us. Whose property is that, by the way?
Right? Who pays for this property? Do you? Do you guys realize what you're doing? Well, I need to get both of your names. What's your name and badge number?
What's your name?
What's your name and badge number, sir? Are you refusing to identify yourself as a law officer?
Oh, it's right there.
Oh.
Madden.
Madden?
Yeah.
How about you?
Proto.
Cordo?
Proto.
Yeah, what do you think about your task today? Kicking people off of public property.
He's not supposed to be here. He has a no trespass
It's public
order.
property.
Doesn't matter. So what, sir?
Stop being a slave and think for yourself. Robots. Sick of paying for your job. Thugs.
I'm here outside of Superior Court. I was standing outside acting as a member of the Free Press, as I'm a member of the Shire Free Press. I just wanted to get some video, make sure I know that my friends are safe. Kelly and Ian Freeman and Kelly Voluntarist were just arrested inside. I didn't go inside because I didn't want to violate a no trespass order, which could result in me being arrested and then losing my $2,000 that I posted for bail last time I was arrested. So while I was standing over there on the sidewalk outside of the court, two deputies came outside with guns ready to arrest me, saying, "Derek, come here, stop," and then laughably weren't even able to catch me, just sprayed it away, and then that was too much for him. The donut diet isn't working.
Today, two friends of mine, Jason Talley of freeagents.com and Kelly Voluntarist, were arrested for not rising for a judge when he came into the room. They've recently been released, but I've decided to wait out here and see what the judge and or Tebow, who is a very aggressive bailiff here at the Superior Court, who always is antagonizing or very authoritative, And so I wanted to get some comments. Excuse me, Mr. Arnold, do you have time for a few questions? Maybe the least you could do. How about you, Tebow? You got a few questions?
They're a private citizen. They're not getting paid by any government facility when they're walking out these doors. Okay? Do you agree with that?
I don't know.
If you're in their way going to their vehicle, if you're following them to their vehicles, if you're constantly asking them questions and trying to intimidate them,
Whoa, intimidation.
No, it's like getting broader and broader.
Get bigger, okay? So I'm just telling you guys, just keep your distance, let them. They're not working anymore.
Are you saying asking questions is intimidating?
They're not working anymore.
So if I ask someone
part
a
of the
question,
statute is how you feel. If you feel fearful for your life,
Well, in that case, I felt intimidated and fearful of my life yesterday when Tebow went in a rage and drug people out of a courtroom by handcuffs.
You know,
Am I allowed to bring this camera inside?
No.
So what do you expect me to do when I need to ask one of these people a question about what they did?
Get
approved by who?
Get in. The court system.
By the same people I want to ask questions. I have every intention of, as a member of the press, asking a public official about actions they did
I understand that.
in the course of their duty. That is my right.
We will keep that in mind, okay?
So we're here at the Cheshire Superior Court. This is supposedly public property, but we've been met by a group of 4 individuals who are attempting to threaten us. Now, this is the sheriff himself, Richard Foote, in a leather jacket.
You can't do what you're doing because there is no purpose, legitimate purpose for what you're doing.
Why is singing harassing?
And I'm telling you that you have to leave, and if you don't leave, you'll be arrested for criminal trespass, and you come back again, you'll be arrested again.
I, as a taxpayer, don't get to come into the parking lot I'm forced to pay for. Is that right?
Correct. The 4 of you are duty of persistent harassment of court personnel.
Harassment?
You are prohibited from entering onto or remaining on county property here at 12 Court Street.
You're saying if I want to come watch a public trial, I have to call you and ask permission first?
Correct.
He said we have a no trespassing order forever.
Yep.
Forever.
If you come in here, you'll be trespassing and arrested.
If
okay?
I walk on the parking lot.
Yes.
You're gonna put me in a cage for taking a step on public property.
Yep.
Why is that? Is this fascist USSA
No, it's
USSA
not.
right now?
I'm letting you know, okay? Keep on pushing the envelope.
Why would you do that to
arrested.
him?
It doesn't make it
I'm
right.
not going to answer your questions. I'm telling you what's going to happen, and that's that, okay?
Caleb, that's a threat.
Accountable government.
Now look,
I'm not going to talk to you about
he's
your
never
questions.
been here singing. Why is he being banned?
I'm telling
from
him
the
right
parking
now.
lot?
I'm telling him right now. Okay?
Wait, I thought
keep
you
on
banned
going-
me because I was
if you keep on
harassing
going
someone.
into the parking lot, you'll be arrested.
Can you explain
That
that?
is the end of it,
You
okay?
told me.
Are you having fun with this? You look like you think this is humorous.
Over here. What are you talking about? I'm on the sidewalk. Look.
This is on the property, too.
Yeah, really please step right over here.
No, you told us we could go on the sidewalk before.
This sidewalk right here. The line keeps moving, right?
Wait a minute.
The line's
Why are you guys
clear.
doing this?
Sounds like you're making illegal.
You guys know this is ridiculous. Why don't you refuse to obey these orders, guys?
Why are you banning a man from the parking lot who's never been here? You banned me from singing. You called it harassing, and now you're banning a man who's never sung here once in his life.
The parking lot, you'll be arrested, okay?
So are you going to arrest anybody who walks in the parking lot today, or just me?
Wow, this is insane. I mean, this is crazy.
You guys are sad. Think for yourself, guys. Think for yourself. Arrest.
Probably. He says it's probably county property here. Stick around. We'll find out.
In a related story, independent journalist Dave Ridley recently interviewed former New Hampshire police officer Brad Jardis about his most recent activism. Mr. Jardis is representing Jason Talley in Superior Court.
Jason Talley was arrested in the same lobby shown in the previous video for having a camera, and once again in a courtroom above the lobby for not standing for the judge.
All right, I'm standing here with Brad Jardis from New Hampshire, who, of course, you're best known for taking on the ban on firearms at New Hampshire universities. And you had something new that's been going on this week that you wanted to tell me about. Tell me what's up.
Well, a little background. I presently am representing Jason Talley of Talley TV in front of the Cheshire County Superior Court. He's been charged with 3 things. One is contempt of court, the other is disorderly conduct, and the other is resisting arrest. And the basis for these charges all stem from court orders that were enacted after Adam Miller of copblock.org, or he's more generally known as Ademo Freeman. He attempted to interview a judge in Keene, New Hampshire about his decision to put someone in jail for contempt for 5 days for wearing a hat in the courtroom. And this happened on June 28th of last year, and he asked him questions. He was very polite.
It's kind of ridiculous to waste taxpayer money on something like that, isn't it? Sir?
He asked him about the use of taxpayer money. He asked him about enforcement of public policy. And Judge Burke, on camera, told a lie to his bailiffs. He said,
Bailiff, this person is threatening me about a decision that I just made.
I'm not threatening you. I'm asking him questions. Did I threaten you?
He's threatening as a criminal offense.
What was my threat?
Come on, sir, you're in custody.
But if you watch the video, anybody who sees it can see that Ademo did not threaten him at all. He was asking him questions that the judge didn't want to answer. So as a result of this, I think it was 3 or 4 days later, the district court chief judge, Edwin Kelly, he issues a rule saying you can't have cameras, you can't use cameras in non-public areas of courtrooms. And then that same day, the chief judge of the Superior Court, Tina Nato, she issued an order saying you can't do that in the Superior Court either. A little bit later the next month, in July, the presiding judge in Cheshire County, John Arnold, he issued an order saying you can't possess a recording device at all. And if you read the New Hampshire Constitution, specifically Part 1, Article 22, it says that the freedom of the press shall be inviolably preserved. And these orders strip the right of people to hold government officials accountable in public areas of public buildings. And these orders were all issued in direct response to Judge Burke being caught on camera committing a crime. And that crime is what's called false reports to law enforcement. If you, I believe it's RSA 641-4. If you make a report to law enforcement that someone has committed a crime, like if I was to say, Dave, if I was to call 911 right now and say, Dave Ridley threatened me, that's a criminal offense, and then the police arrested you, I would have committed a crime. So this judge commits a crime, and then these judges that are in a supervisory role use their authority, which was granted by the Supreme Court. They enact this ban on recording devices. So Jason Talley, he's a member of the Free Press. He's a journalist, and he likes to cover things having to do with the state. He went to the courthouse and was arrested for possession of a camera, and all of this stuff stems from the fact that Judge Burke lied to bailiffs who are considered law enforcement officers because they have the power to arrest. Judge Burke lied and got Ademo put in jail for 2 days for something that he didn't do before the Cheshire County attorney let him out. So Jason Talley, I think he's a good guy. He's a friend of mine, and he asked me for help because attorneys are very expensive, so I decided to help him with this case. And New Hampshire is kind of unique because you can represent somebody in court as long as you're a person of good character. And the judge allowed me to file an appearance, and thus far I'm representing him. But I think it's very important for the public to know, especially right now, because there is a bill in the legislature to propose a constitutional amendment to remove the last line of Article 73A, which says that the Supreme Court has the power to make rules that have the force and effect of law. And if the Supreme Court is using its power to make rules that have the force and effect of law to cover for a judge who committed a crime on camera, I think that's something the public should know about, because I would say it's certainly an abuse of the public trust. If you read...
One question, though, is how can you prove that the courts made those additional rules as a result of Judge Burke's incident with Adam?
It's very easy to prove, and I don't think the Supreme Court did anything wrong at all. I think that... well, if you read the order, this is what I was just about to say. If you read the order that was issued 3 or 4 days after Ademo was wrongfully put in jail for 2 days, the administrative judge of it's now called the Circuit Court District Division, Edwin Kelly, he was so bold as to write that members of the public have accosted the presiding justice. These people think that independent members of the free press asking questions about public policy and about tax policy is equivalent to accosting somebody. You know, these are public servants who ostensibly answer to us, and if you go up to them with a camera, they're going, they lie and say you threatened them when you didn't. You get put in jail for 2 days, and then their bosses enact a rule stripping the rights of all members of the independent media to hold government officials accountable, and they call questions about government policy accosting. I think it costs about $78.
Well, whether it's accosting or not, they were admitting that it was a reason that
Exactly.
that's the important part.
Exactly.
I guess. Where do people find that admission on the internet?
Well, you can read, according to, because right now I'm bound by the New Hampshire Rules of Professional Conduct, but the Professional Rules of Conduct, Rule 3.62C, says that you can state things that are contained in a public record. And everything I've just told you is contained in the motions that I filed. And this is also, this is, like I said, I think this is an abuse of the public trust because the people trust these people to have enormous authority and they're using it to cover up for a crime. I was a police officer for 11 years and I've done well over 100 arrest warrants and I've done lots of search warrants. And I'm telling you right now, what I saw on that camera was a crime committed by Judge Burke. And he's still sitting on the bench. Nothing has happened to him. And now Jason Talley, who is my client, so to speak, he's standing charges on these orders that they enacted after Judge Burke told a lie and got Ademo arrested.
Yeah, well, and I guess, with Watergate, it wasn't the original crime that was the big problem, but the cover-up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And interestingly, I filed a motion, I believe I called it a motion to refrain from using physical force to demand respect. And essentially, I asked the court, please don't authorize the bailiffs to use violence against people who don't want to stand for you, because a lot of people find that to be shocking to their conscience. And Part 1, Article 4 of the New Hampshire Constitution says you have a right to conscience. And why should people have to stand for public officials if they don't believe in it? The Cheshire Superior Court has ordered bailiffs to bailiffs and deputies to literally grab people by the arms and stand them up if they don't want to stand for the judge in America.
The state's trial for Jason Talley starts at the end of March.
Tonight, we have a special guest, local attorney Charlie Donahue. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
You're an icon in Keene. I'm really excited to have you on the show. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
I've got a lot of questions for you. We don't have a lot of time, so we'll just get to what we can get to, and hopefully we can have you back again sometime. My first question, I understand you've probably got to be somewhat circumspect about anything you say about the courts, the local courts. Do you have any comments regarding the videos we watched?
I've been here almost 30 years. I know just about everybody that was on the TV. Okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, most of them have been very good to me.
Yeah.
So I respect that, and as liberty-loving people, or whatever, if somebody's been good to you, that's important. And I value that. Now, if I were writing the rules, they would be a lot different than the rules that are being imposed on freedom, really. I think really right off the bat, the people, the bailiffs and the police officers, I'm sure you understand, they're following orders. They really are. This is what they do for work. So to ask them to use their discretion or to kind of refrain is something they just can't do. The orders come from on high. Now, and when I say on high, think about this too, having to stand up in court. Now, yes, that is the rule of the court. When I'm in court, I stand. Now, maybe it's being Irish, but kind of in the Irish history, there's a lot of kind of a rebellious spirit to authority. And I share that. There are times if I'm before a judge, frankly, I might not feel like standing either. You know what I'm saying? I have to, though, because this is my livelihood, And, you're right, I have to be careful of what I say. But in the scheme of things, let's think about it. Rather than ordering the bailiffs to say, all rise, in demanding that, maybe it should be, please rise, giving somebody the option. Where did this come from that we have to stand up? Is it the judge? I think this came from, in the old days, the judge was carrying a Bible. And I think that's why people stood, not for the judge.
It seems plausible.
You know what I'm saying?
It was considered blasphemy not to stand, basically?
I believe so. So, in a freedom-loving country where the religious person sits next to the atheist, who sits next to the agnostic, they are bound together by the freedom to believe, okay? And that should be important. So if I were writing the rules, But a guy like me doesn't become a judge, okay, because I'm not part of the clique. I mean, if people were electing judges, I think I'd have a pretty good shot.
Well,
that wouldn't bother me, this stuff. What wouldn't bother me is the standing. I wouldn't take that so personal. I think my skin would be a little bit, standing up, wearing a hat. To me, that's different. A judge has to maintain control of his court. You cannot be disruptive. If somebody is filming or recording and they're doing it respectfully, discreetly, in my personal opinion, what is the harm? The only advice I would give is I don't think it serves the cause of liberty any good. Sometimes we get so wrapped up with our emotions that we lash out at these people. We call them names. Right. That's where I would break, because mainly, even as a point of strategy, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not persuasive. Do you see what I'm saying?
I agree with the name calling doesn't make, if you have an intellectual conversation to have and you're on the side of logic, then you shouldn't need to resort to calling names. And when you do, it makes you seem weaker. But I did want to address just really quickly, because I know you have more questions, have more questions for you. But when you said that you shouldn't go to so much effort to try to hold the bailiffs and the people who are arresting people responsible, I think that I think that they are making a judgment call, because if someone asks someone to do something else, even if that person, you're in charge, like if my boss asks me to do something, then I'm generally going to do it. But if it starts to go against my conscience and if it's something that's immoral, then every person has it in them to make a judgment call whether or not they want to go along with that. So when they do go along with this, I think it is important to point out, well, what you're doing is wrong. And even if it is part of your job and you feel forced into it, you still owe it to yourself to make that decision for yourself if you want to follow orders that are wrong.
No, that's a very fair comment. It really is. And I suppose the way it is done is crucial to me. Number one is a matter of strategy, but number two is just common decency. These people are doing this, they're not doing this for fun. They're probably doing it because they have to work. They may have families. A lot of these guys are older guys, maybe wanting to get out. I think that if they actually, and I think it works both ways, that they should stand, in your shoes too. I mean, there's a lot of passionate people. Like it or not, the liberty movement in this country is growing, much like the Beats in the 50s.
I love it.
It's very true. It cannot be wished away. You look at the Ron Paul situation. The fact of the matter is that your generation, seeing stuff that my generation, we were more sheep. Okay, we went along. We thought there was a big difference in the two political parties, and were fed a bunch of crap, and still many of us believe it. Okay, when in fact both parties are bought and sold. Your generation, I see it in my own kids. They're young adults. They are more thinking. And when I go to a Ron Paul rally and I'm talking to people, it's not hope and change crap. It's let's talk about the Fed. Let's talk about our interventionist foreign policy. Let's talk about the budget deficit, specifics, people that, and you know what I think the reason is? Is because we are leaving to...
Charlie, thank you for joining us.
Sorry I had to cut you off.
No, I get carried away just as well.
I hope we can have you
another
back.
hour. Yeah.
You can send your feedback to tv@freekeen.com.
Freekeen TV is also looking for story ideas and suggestions. Thanks. I'm Allie Havens.
I'm Johnny Ray. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you very much.